I want to introduce you to our backyard chicken flock today. A whole 8 of them. 4 of them are laying. 5 should be, but 4 are currently. I'll show you. So these ladies are all, I have no idea how old. We got them as pullets. We were never really told how old they were. We have 3 black ones, which are lavender orpington crossed with a barred rock, 2 white ones, which are a barnyard mix. And then we have 3, which we call the littles, which we did get at a later date. They are, I estimate, to be about 16 weeks old-ish. 2 of those are true blue whitings, and 1 of them is a cream crested leg bar. So we should have some pretty cool egg diversity once they're all actually laying. But first and foremost, this is their run. Their run is approximately 12 by 12, which is just big enough for 8 chickens. We made it for like 5. And then we added more. And in the spring, we're going to extend their run quite a bit. We have a lot of area over here, and we're gonna utilize that for them. Just winter's about to fly. We don't have the time to expand currently. So in the spring, they're gonna get more. And to be fair, they do get free range of this already as is, just not all the time because we do have dogs. And the dogs will eat them. Now, regarding their run, it is mostly covered. There's about a 2-foot section right here that's not covered, but we do have a covered section. We do have 2 sides covered in this plastic poly right now. It's about 5 feet up, and it's there specifically for wintertime. We're gonna take it down in the spring. It's there to basically block the wind and block snow from coming in, trying to keep them a little more warm, a little more comfortable during the winter. Although I do suspect it's not gonna take all the snow out of there, because we will probably get 3-4 feet of snow in the winter. It's not abnormal where we are, minus 30, minus 40 degrees. So we're probably gonna be doing shoveling and even laying down hay in the winter to make sure that these girls are comfy when they do come outside the coop. But for now, let's go in and I'll introduce you to who's who. Hi, ladies. Okay, so to get this started, this one here, this one's name is Blue. You can see she's got a bit of blue tinge to her feathers there. So that's why she's called Blue. These 3 black ones are all siblings. So that's Blue. This one is Thing 2, and that thing is Thing 1. So Thing 1 and Thing 2. The only way we can really tell them apart is Thing 2 has a slightly crooked beak, and the anklets, colored anklets we gave them to identify them. So 1 has green, 2 has yellow. The 2 white ones, this one is Bo, and this one is Leia. They're siblings. They were born hatched on May the 4th. And they are barnyard chickens. So May the 4th, if you know, Star Wars Day, Leia, Princess Leia, Bo-Katan, Star Wars names, yeah. Anyways, Leia is an interesting little chicken. So first and foremost, you see her butt. So she's been getting bullied and pecked at by the other chickens. So we heard that a product called Blue Coat will dye them blue and help deter pecking because they no longer see the red, just like bulls with red, they get pissed off, they see the blood, they want to peck at blood. So the blue covers it up. We can't get Blue Coat here. So we improvised and we used an antiseptic with blue food coloring over top. It worked a little bit, but eventually they started pecking again. So now we're using something called pine tar, which is kind of like a last resort. We don't want to use it if we have to, but it is natural and it is stinky and it tastes awful. So the other chickens, when they peck at her, they get a mouthful of this grossness and they're like, blah, and it deters them from pecking at her. It's been working fantastic. They're not bullying her anymore. Just kind of random, normal pecking order stuff, but she's getting along just great. Now Leia, other than being picked on, is also an olive egger. So these 3 and Bo all lay brown eggs of different kind of shades, while Leia lays green eggs. Don't you, Leia? You lay green eggs. And being that Leia and Bo are a barnyard mix, it's kind of like almost a miracle that she lays green eggs. It's like not very often. It's pretty rare. So that was cool. And we have 3 more that we refer to often as the littles. They're approximately 16 weeks old. So the one in the forefront here, right there, the nice one with the pretty gray and orange, that, the one that just went inside, that one is Dolly. She's a bit of a drama queen, so the name is actually rather fitting. Okay, so since they just went inside the coop, I'm gonna try and draw them out with some treats. So that's Dolly. The one behind her is Butters. So Butters is the cream-crested leg bar, while Dolly and her sister Mabel, who are still inside the coop, they are both true blue whitings. So yeah, that's Mabel, the one coming out last. And if you're curious about their treats, dried black soldier larva fly, or dried black soldier fly larva. There we go. But they go nuts for it. So this one's Butters, and if you know South Park at all, she's named because of that little tuft of hair on her head as Butters from South Park. But she, along with the other 2 littles that we call her, Dolly and Mabel, should all lay blue eggs. So we're gonna have brown, green, and blue. Good variety of eggs. Say hi, Butters. I'm not sure if I mentioned this already, but in the spring, we're gonna expand this run. I said that, right? I'm pretty sure I did. But anyways, we're gonna go on to the coop. So the coop is made out of almost entirely recycled materials. This, recycled. A couple 2x4s were purchased, 1x4s, and 2 sheets of plywood, but the rest of it, all recycled materials. We do have a plug-in for a heat source to keep the water warm in the winter, and heat lamps inside, because like I said, it's gonna get really cold. Generally speaking, we're not gonna have to heat them because they're really hardy animals. We wanna make sure that they're hardy animals and not give them too much heat so they rely on it. So once it gets past minus 25, minus 30, we're gonna make sure we have at least 1 heat lamp going on in there, keep them warm, because honestly, we don't want our chickens to just survive winter and be hardy birds. We want them to be comfortable too. So we're making sure that that's all ready to go, and we have electricity to heat it. We have a manual coop door and an automatic coop door. So in the summer, if we want to open up ourselves or this door isn't working, we can go ahead and open it. But this door opens and closes with daylight and sunlight. So the chickens go in when it gets dark, the door closes 20 minutes behind them, and then it opens up and the chickens come out in the morning when the sun rises. It's fantastic. If you ever get chickens, it's expensive, but it is a must. Now their coop is an 8x4 dimensions on the inside. So inside they got a couple roosts, all their bedding, which is pine shavings, which help insulate. On the bottom, it's lifted from the ground so no pests can get in. 2 things you need to make sure is really important with your coop. 1, for winterization, you have draft free. So right now, all these gaps in the boards, drafts can get in. So I gotta come in with silicone and silicone that up, make sure that no draft can get in. I need silicone from the outside because chickens will eat that silicone. So draft free is what we want to make sure breeze isn't going through in the winter, taking away all their heat. And second, we wanna make sure that there is ventilation up top. So I'll show you. So up there, in between that 2x4 and the tin roof, airflow can go through. And what that does is make sure that it doesn't get too musty, doesn't get too wet, the humidity doesn't rise to freeze or give the chickens frostbite in the winter. So yes, you want to make sure you have a draft-free coop, but you also want to make sure you have a draft up top to make sure it takes away any moisture and condensation buildup. It's rather complicated, but it's actually really simple. See, the chickens from here to here are draft-free. Up there is where the draft goes through and takes away any of that moisture air. The chickens all stay below the draft line, so they can stay nice and warm while the draft gets taken care of, preventing any sort of frostbite or freezing. Make sense? It's easy once you think about it, but it's a little bit convoluted when you first hear the concept. Next, nesting boxes. These are the nesting boxes. I'm gonna put a new latch on it. For now, it's just temporary bungee. We come in here and we can reach in and take out eggs. This is a fake egg. It's a wooden egg that's painted to look like an egg. essentially to show the chickens, hey, this is where your eggs are supposed to go. So they'll crawl in here, nice comfortable space away from all the other chickens, find this egg and go, hey, this is where I should lay eggs, clearly, because there's already an egg here. So then they'll lay their eggs. We have 4 nesting boxes, 2 on this side and 2 on this side. We have a fake egg. We have a fake egg in each, just because we have some chickens learning to lay right now. And underneath, storage of stuff and things, you know, more shavings, food, all that sort of good stuff that we need for them. That's our flock. Pretty simple. Right, Ripley? Good girl. But all that being said, there's one last thing I need to show you guys, and that's the eggs they produce. Let's go. These are our farm fresh eggs. As I mentioned, Leia lays these beautiful olive green eggs. This was her first egg she laid, not just like a few days ago. And this is what she's laying now. A little bit smaller, but still, this is a medium-sized egg you'd buy from the grocery store. Just because we're not getting all these cool colored eggs, these are standard brown. You still get different shades and you still get cool characteristics in them, like these spots. And we have farm fresh, farm to table eggs. And I mean, some people might argue it's not really farm to table. It's not much of a farm, but it is a farm. It's just a really small farm that we are providing for ourselves, looking after. We know what goes into the food. We know what the conditions the chickens were in, because let's be honest, the conditions most industrial chickens are kept in are absolutely horrendous. Hold on, I'm gonna sit down with my coffee. There's this sense of pride in taking care of it and bringing it in and providing for yourself with that. And knowing where the food comes from is massive too. But I want to point out the idea of if you take care of the animal, the chicken, they lay eggs anyway. They just do. It's part of their life cycle. If a chicken were wild and in the bush, it would lay an egg, even if a rooster wasn't there, even if it wasn't fertilized, it would lay the egg and it would just sit there and rot and go bad. So the fact that we can have these chickens, no roosters there, so none of the eggs are fertile, they're just eggs that the chicken lay. It's free food. I mean, not free because we're taking care of the chickens, we're raising them and putting money into that, but it's a byproduct of chickens regardless. It's amazing. And eggs are delicious. They're healthy for you. And let's be honest, it just looks cool having those eggs rather than just plain ones from the grocery store. But I have a feeling chicken math is going to catch up with us in the spring. But chicken math is for a whole nother video. Until then, I'll make sure Nicole's in the next video. She's off on a photo shoot right now, but until then, stay wicked.